What is going on, guys? Spencer here for another episode of the Athlete Special. So I turned 28 years old about a month ago, and I have been feeling better than I ever have, and I just want to share with you guys some of the reasons why. So I've kind of compiled together a bunch of tips and reasons why I think I have been able to feel better than I ever have. And I'm not saying that 28 means I'm super old. I still feel like I am right within my prime, but it's been a bunch of years since I've felt this good. I think that there's a chance that I could feel just as good as I do now when I'm 40 years old, with all the technology and all of the information out there now. So the first reason I feel so good now when I'm running is because I decided to finally get a coach this year. So after I did a half marathon in February, I decided, you know what, it's time for me to actually get serious again and get a coach. And my coach, John Green, has been absolutely amazing. So I would say to you guys, I think it's better to have a coach out there versus coaching yourself. I know people who do coach themselves and it totally does work, but having a coach has been super helpful because it takes that mental side out of it for me. I don't have to think about things anymore. I just see the workouts I'm given for the week and then I can just listen to that. I like not having to think about things too much, so having a coach has been amazing for that. So the next thing that I started to do this year was double a lot more. And actually, particularly in the last couple of months, I started to double way more. I had been doing a lot of longer single runs last year, and that would definitely drain me quite a bit. But now I do way more doubles where I run 8 miles and then 4 miles in the afternoon, or like 5 and 5, 6 and 4, and then doubling after workouts as well. I think it allows you to get in that extra mileage without necessarily burning out your system. So for me, doubling has been fantastic. The next super big one that I have worked on a lot this year was just working on my nutrition. So obviously, you guys know that my diet is not crazy good or anything like that. But in particular, what I mean by working on my nutrition is just making sure I get in enough carbs. And especially being at altitude, you have to really make sure that you have your carbs under control and you're eating enough. Because I do 80+ mile weeks, so having to eat enough carbs it's not that easy. You have to actually focus in on it. For me, I can't naturally eat enough carbs. I have to kind of force myself to keep eating them. And going off of focusing on my nutrition more, I have been using ChatGPT so much in the last year. And I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I just want to get into the specifics on it. I tell it what I'm doing for my training, and it basically tells me what it thinks I should be eating nutrition-wise. You have to take it with a grain of salt. You're not going to want to listen to everything it says exactly. I would suggest that if you use ChatGPT, just try to give it as much information as possible. So one thing that I learned through ChatGPT is that I don't really get in enough electrolytes, and I'm a really salty sweater. So now I drink so many electrolytes every day, and I'm telling you guys, that has been like one of the biggest game changers for me in years. Most of my lower leg injuries feel way better. Really try to make sure that you're having enough electrolytes, especially if you live at altitude, but even if you live at sea level. The next thing I've done to really up my running game is to lean into enjoying my runs more. And that means for me listening to music on a lot of my runs. So I have actually been using the Mojawa Pura Run headphones on a lot of my runs, and that has been super helpful. What's going on, guys? Good morning. I've got a nice little 8-mile run on deck, and I'm excited to try out my new Mojawa headphones for this run. And thankfully, there's a 15-hour battery life, so I don't have to worry at all about these things running out of battery. All right, we're ready to go on our run. What I love about these headphones is that they're super lightweight, which really makes a difference when you're doing long distance runs. And also they are waterproof, so if I get super sweaty on the run, it's not gonna impact the headphones at all. Let's get going on this 8-mile run. The sound quality on these headphones is crystal clear, and the maglev bass really kicks in when I push hard. These headphones are great for my safety as well because I can always hear if bikes are coming up on me. It's nice to be aware of my surroundings but also be locked into the music. It's been nice having Allie on the bike next to me for several runs, holding my phone while I jam out to these awesome headphones. You can also just shout "Hi Mojawa" when you want to switch songs with the headphones while running. This is such an amazing hands-free feature. I also use these headphones when I'm just hanging out, taking Georgie on walks, or doing work on my laptop. All in all, guys, I absolutely love these headphones. Between the long battery life, the waterproof design, and the amazing sound quality, these fit into my training and my everyday lifestyle amazingly. So thank you so much to Mojawa for sponsoring this video, and if you are interested in the Pura Run headphones, click the link in my description to get a discount. The next thing that has helped me so much this year is having a mileage range, not a specific number. So now my mileage range is between 75 and 85 5-mile weeks. So, you know, if I'm not feeling great on a week, I can just sort of do the lower end of that range. If I am feeling good on a week, I can do the higher end of that range. In the past, I used to just be a specific number, and I think that having the specific number overall wasn't good for me because it would push me to just overtrain sometimes. My coach's philosophy is having a mileage range, so that might not be your coach's philosophy, but for mine, he has me do a mileage range, and I think that that helps a lot. So the next thing I've done to really help my overall running is have much more races on the schedule. And that's been a theme that you guys have seen in the last 2 years for me. Before, I used to not really race that often, but now I race way more often. I will say I actually haven't raced in the last couple of months, but this whole fall, I'm going to be having several races, leading off with the US 20K Championships as my next race coming up. And then I have 2 more races in September, and then a big race in November, and probably way more after that. But just in general, the idea of having races on the schedule, it allows you to have built-in down weeks. So it means that usually the week before the race, I'll have a down week, and then the week after, I'll have a down week. So I think it's kept me more healthy, just having more races on the schedule. And at the end of the day, for me, I run to race and I train to race. So being able to face my fear of doing race distances that are scary to me has only led to positive experiences. You know, having success, having failure in races, it just leads to so many lessons about yourself. So I really find that racing more has been super beneficial for me, and racing events that I used to never dream of doing, it gives you a different level of confidence. So the last thing I put on my list is that I just prioritize my body so much more than I used to. I think it just came down to just getting over my ego. You know, when I was younger, I used to think I'm just really talented. I can do whatever I want. I can eat what I want. I can go out on the weekends, do whatever, and my body's going to be fine. I probably learned by the time I was 24 or 25 years old that that wasn't the case, and my body would start to get injured after not doing the correct recovery stuff. And it's taken me the last couple years of really finding a great routine for myself, and that includes a lot more rolling out, taking care of specific lower leg things for myself. And I see someone every week. I get shockwave and needling by my friend Steven every week, and we've built up a great relationship over the last 2 years to where he knows my body super well. You know, if you guys can find someone in your area that you can see weekly or bi-weekly or monthly that can start to learn your body and know what it needs in the moment, it can really, really help you out. And going back to the thing about the ego, I think that I kind of got over thinking that I was just this guy who could handle anything, and, you know, realize, okay, you have to go to bed early. You have to eat the right foods. You have to do the activation work. You have to do the strides. You have to do all the little things. Once I started to get into that routine again and doing all of the little things like that, after 4 months of being healthy or 6 months of being healthy, then you build up a confidence about yourself that is hard to take away, and it just builds upon itself. That's where I'm at right now, and it feels really good to be at that point. And I really feel like if you're having true fun with running, then you know that you're doing it right. So that'd be my final tip, is just make sure that you find a way to have fun with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little spiel. Let me know if you want to hear more sit down and talk videos like this. I've got the big 20K US Championship race coming up soon, so we'll see you guys soon.